So on this test with the, well anyway, first welcome everybody. I'm just gonna kind of run this 6,000. I don't know how dead I run this yet. I haven't charged it yet. But we're gonna kind of see how she performs if she stays on the table. I had to chalk the wheels down at the bottom so the thing doesn't move. So we are running the aperture, so we'll start open. The battery is dead probably because I haven't charged it in a little while. Half throttle. I do need to check that battery and see how it's doing, but what I'd like to do is come back and see, probably with the 50C, I don't think it got too hot. Well, it got a little warm, but not too warm, because that air coming through there cooled it down pretty good. Yeah, see, that's not too hot either, because it's just pulling in a lot of air coming through there, so. We're gonna stop it and see if we can, I think the next steps with this is gonna be designing a wing around it. So I was thinking about keeping it center line and then just having the wings come off just for the purpose of seeing how much lift it can produce with, say, maybe a, I don't know, 4-foot wing on either side. So, and obviously a wider airfoil from front to back to encompass the whole thing. And probably do elevon control. Is it elevon? Yeah. Well, there is no elevator. It'd be just like a V-wing craft. You know, where you're just using the ailerons. I think that's still elevon, isn't it? Anyway, I can't remember, but I just kind of wanted to demonstrate it. Then I'm going to charge that battery and see what else we can do. But I honestly think that this could be, I do have a new housing for the new design that I did do. The twins here are just waiting for the motor. And then this is, like I said before, could be dropped into an F-22 body of the various scales. Or I even thought about a Dark Star model just to see, but it's all going to depend on the thrust coming off of that, and then we'll go from there. So lots of decisions to make on how and I'm going to implement these. First is going to be obviously thrust testing for those. This one's been tested over and over again and has proved to be fairly stable, running off an 800 kilovolt motor. And those turbo motors are 800 kV. Those aren't bad. I mean, it gets pretty good speed. About 15 to 17,000 RPMs at max throttle. So doing pretty good. I'm just at this point, I'm like, okay, I've got to test this motor in the air. So now I got to design a wing that I can either foam out, spar out with the printer and then wrap, or I think it was Chad that was saying it, use the, obviously a carbon fiber spar, but use the foam board to try and make a wing. So I don't know if that's going to be the cheapest way to do it. I still think if I spar it, put a carbon fiber spar and then put the actual ribs down the spar and then get the foam board over, that would work pretty good, I think. What do y'all think? With what you can see here, how big do you think this wing needs to be? Just to get this motor tested in the air. And we're pretty much going to use it as its own nose for the most part. Try to keep the center of gravity all right down the spar of the wing. So we'll go from there. This thing's going to gripe at me because I'm not touching it. Yeah, simple radio. I do have a TX16S in the house, but I'm not running this on ELRS. It's all just serial bus for testing. That may change when I do put this in a larger craft with ailerons and elevators, rudders, landing gear, so on and so forth. That and it'll help with stable flight. I don't want to do any kind of flight stabilization with this. I would just want to use the Elevon system setup on sort of a V-wing and see where it goes and how it operates. And then eventually I'll get all this gloriousness in order. My friend's supposed to come over with a truck. We're supposed to clean it out. And then I'll finish assembling A10 and do the fuselage parts and stuff like that. I have a lot on my plate, so I'm kind of trying to do everything at once. But next up's going to be the spin up on these. And I get that ESC and motor here. So that'll be what's coming up next. We're going to go with a wing build for that. That was funny as hell, but not what I intended. So I'm going to try and find a bigger foam body and go that route with that. JAV, you will fly. Except I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up pushing something like that instead of what you got on you. And we'll go from there, and then I'll put my 70 mils I got laying around here in the A10. Oh, Shrike, how we miss thee. Would you make another appearance? That's originally what that was designed for. That's why the arms are like that, kind of facing inward, because I had a mount system for kind of a box, just like the Strike drone itself, the way it was designed before, which was just kind of a corner. Simple drone design, just so I don't overcomplicate the process, and then have 4 of these as the drone. Let's see what you can do. So that will be one step. The new cowling for this that I did put together, the new duct work, actually goes out a bit farther, squeezes inward, and I have covers that go over interior parts here that will kind of smooth the airflow, but it'll also compress it up in this area a little bit more before it comes out here. So, and then it doesn't have this cutout. This cutout was so that I had some thrust output to the sides for stabilization on a drone. That was the whole reason for this. But it still ends up, I mean, you can tell if you run streamers, you can tell that the air gets pushed up out this direction. And that's good for stabilization, because it still means that I can make the engine still vertical and run it as a drone. So, yeah, like I said, tons of plans in the works, and I'm doing it in the midst of utter chaos. So I'm like trying to figure out a plan to clean everything and get everything organized, up. And I'm also trying to do the projects and keep content going. Uh-oh, my husky's mad. I've paid less attention. Yeah, I hear you. But until next time, any ideas? You know, throw them on over. What do you want to see? What do you think the wing design needs to be for this if this motor is centralized as sort of the hull of the aircraft? Do you want to see that in an F-22? Do you see one of the? Do you want to see one of these in an F-35? Do you want to see 4 smaller versions of it on the JAV? I mean, give me some ideas. I've got tons of parts, tons of fans, tons of fan casings, tons of turbines, and motivation. So, let me know. I await your suggestions, my faithful viewers.